Hello, everyone, and good evening. I am Attorney Yael Brudner coming to you guys live from our office in Orange County, California. We are streaming live this afternoon or this evening on Facebook and on YouTube. And if you're here, wonderful, welcome. I'm happy to see you. And if you're watching the recording of this, that's also awesome. Um, if you have any questions today, I am going to be answering immigration questions today. So if you have any questions, I would love to answer them live. And if you're watching the recording, then I would love to answer them later. So feel free to write down your questions in the comments and I'll get to them as I see them. And these questions are questions that come to us during the week, and I kind of pick the ones I think would be the most interesting to you guys. And it's important to know, though, that the answers today are general answers. So it's not legal advice. And if I'm answering your question, I always recommend also reaching out and having a consultation to get personalized legal advice. Okay. If you are new to our Facebook or our YouTube channel, then please like our channel, subscribe, and that way you'll get more information about these kind of events. I try to go live every week on Thursday, 5:30 Pacific, and answer immigration questions. I try to be here every week as often as I can. So let's jump right in to some really great questions that we received this week. Let's see. Okay. The first question is, I have a pending asylum case. Can I also file for a marriage case? Now, this question comes up very often because if you filed an asylum case, then many times your case is going to take a very long time. So your case can take anywhere from a year to 5 or 6 years. So during that time, you might have met someone and fallen in love and decided to get married. That person is a US citizen, and you want to try to fix your status now based on this marriage. So what do you do if you have a pending case? Can you do it? Generally speaking, yes, you can, but it really depends on what kind of asylum case you have. Is your asylum case in immigration court? So do you have a defensive asylum case? Okay. Or if your case is pending with USCIS, so you filed an affirmative asylum case. So with both of those options, you would be able to file a marriage-based petition. However, the logistics of the case and the complexity of the case will really depend if you are in immigration court or not. So I definitely recommend to consult with a lawyer if this is your case to get a complete evaluation of your situation. Okay. And just in general, I want to talk a little bit about the environment currently with immigration cases. So right now, I want to say that historically, it's probably the best time to file your immigration case. So if you are thinking about filing a case and you are on the fence and you're thinking about it, but you haven't taken action, I want to really encourage you to take that leap and get your case filed, because this is probably the best time historically to file a case. We have currently an administration that is relatively favorable to immigration. We are seeing for a lot of cases approvals. We're seeing quick processing times. We are seeing interview waivers for some case types. And generally, the atmosphere is a good one in immigration. We're seeing it kind of across the board. Now, this year is an election year. So at the end of this year, in November, we will have an election and we might have a different administration in 2025. And this new administration might not be very favorable to immigration. So that's why I want to encourage everyone not to wait to 2025. Also to remember that cases take time. So, it could take a year or more for your case to be decided on. And that's why you want to start as soon as possible. If you're a resident and you're thinking of applying for naturalization and you already qualify, don't wait, just do it. Do it now because this is really the best time. We're seeing record times of processing for, especially for naturalization cases. Quick decisions. Also, another reason to go ahead and continue to and start your immigration case is that immigration fees are going to go up. There talks about this, and there's proposals to raise the fees soon. So you really don't want to have to wait to pay higher fees for your immigration case. So if you don't know, every immigration case requires most of the immigration cases that you file require filing a fee with the government, and those fees are going to go up. Okay, so I want to encourage you to take that step, even if it's scary, even if you don't think you have the resources to do it now. It's probably going to be more expensive if you wait. So do it. If you have any questions about your case, feel free to reach out to us, and see if we can help you. If we can, we'd love to. We'd love to. Okay, perfect. So let's jump into some more questions. And if you're watching us today, thank you for being here. Feel free to write your questions if you have one in the comments, and I'm happy to answer it as we go. Okay, so this question is, can I help my parents get a green card if I join the military? So for members of military, either active duty and even veterans, there is a special benefit that allows you to help your immediate relatives, your spouses, your parents, for help them with their immigration case. Now, it's not for all cases, but if your parents came into the United States unlawfully and they only came in one time and they've been here ever since, then you can help them if you're in the military, because there is a law in this country that says that, generally speaking, you can only apply for your green card in the United States if you have a legal entry. Okay. And there are exceptions to this, and having a son or a daughter in the military is one of those exceptions. Okay, so if you have a son or daughter in the military, then you can apply for the green card based on your son's petition or your daughter's petition in the United States, even if you don't have a legal entry, through a special benefit that you can ask for. It's called parole in place. So if you're in the military or you're considering joining the military just to help your parents, then I would 100% recommend, before you make this decision, which is a big decision and it's a big commitment, to reach out and get a consultation with an attorney to see if you can actually help your parents. Because in some situations, even if you're in the military, you can't help your parents because maybe your parents entered multiple times, and maybe, it won't help if you're in the military. Okay. So reach out to an attorney, get an evaluation, but definitely being in the military, there's a great chance that you'll be able to help your parents. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Let's jump into the next question. Okay. Here's a question. What documents do I need to petition for my wife? Great question. So if you're a US citizen or you're a lawful permanent resident, you have a green card, and you are married and your spouse does not have status in the United States, or she has a status and it's not a permanent status, a temporary status, you can help your spouse, okay, most likely with a petition. And what kind of information do you need? What documents do you need? So for a petition, with the first step, the petition for the green card, really you have to show three basic things. So you would have to show that you are either a US citizen or a resident, so you can actually petition, right? And then you would have to show that your wife is really your wife. So you would have to show that you guys are legally married through a marriage certificate, right? If you were married before, then you would have to show proof of that the previous marriages have been terminated. So you would have to show either a death certificate or a divorce decree, okay? And finally, you would have to show that you are in a bona fide relationship. Okay, a real relationship, a true husband and wife relationship, that you're not just getting married because you didn't get married just for your wife's papers, right? Not just for her to get her green card, but because you are in a true relationship. So that's where you show proof of what we call bona fide documents, joint documents. So you can show if you have any children, birth certificates of these children, if you're living together, joint lease, if you pay utility bills together, joint utility bills, joint bank account, tax returns if you file together, if you're on each other's insurance policies, if you have a car insurance together, if you have a Costco membership, if you have a family phone plan, anything that you can think of that can show that you are a couple, also financially, also on paper, is good. And of course, pictures, affidavits from family and friends, those are the kind of documents. Okay, so after that's the first step, that's the petition. And after that, you will be required to submit more documents, for example, financial documents to show that you can sponsor your wife and that you meet a minimum income. Okay, beautiful. And if you need help, feel free to reach out to us. Our number is actually here below on the screen. You can reach out to us, call, text, or reach out through our website. And we'd love to talk to you and see if we can help. Okay. Okay, so we have a lot of marriage based green card questions today, which is cool. It's probably my favorite, one of my favorite case types is marriage cases. This one is, how long after we are married can we apply for a green card? So this is a super common question, by the way. A lot of couples just get married and they say, okay, how long do we have to wait? So there's no requirement to wait a minimum amount of time. So theoretically, you could file right away, the very next day. Okay. But sometimes for certain cases, there are considerations that we take into account. So, for example, if you enter the United States on a different status with a different visa, and then you get married and you decide you want to apply for your green card when you're here, then we usually wait for a certain amount of time before we file your application for the green card. Okay, so that's one of the considerations. But generally speaking, you can apply at any time after you get married. Okay. And talking about marriage and green card petitions based on marriage, we have a lot of resources on our website about this topic. Like I said, it's one of our most common case types that we do here. And we actually have a wonderful guide. It's called the Couples Guide for Immigration. So if you're interested in receiving a copy, it's free. It's a free guide. Then just shoot us a comment or a message and we'll get that to you for free. It basically talks about what are the options for a couple to immigrate, for someone to immigrate based on being in a relationship with a US citizen or a resident. Okay. Cool. Let's go on. Perfect. This question is, I'm planning on petitioning my wife and daughter for a green card. Do I need to petition them at the same time? Awesome. So, I am assuming you're a U.S. citizen and you're talking here about petitioning for your wife and your daughter, right? Your stepdaughter, your daughter through your wife. In that case, you will have to do two separate petitions. So one petition would be for your wife and one petition would be for your stepdaughter. Okay. They will not be together in one unless you are a resident. If you're a resident, it would be in one. You're not required to do it at the same time, but it's preferable to file for both of them at the same time so both of them can do the process at the same time and immigrate to the United States at the same time. Okay. And we get a lot of questions about the having stepchildren and if you can petition for stepkids. So for example, if you're in a relationship with someone and your spouse has children from either previous marriages or relationships, when can you petition for your stepchildren? So you can petition for your stepchildren if you got married to their parent, their biological parent, before their 18th birthday. Okay. So if you got married to their biological parent before the 18th birthday, then they are considered your child for immigration purposes and you can petition them directly. Okay. Now, if you are new here, welcome. Welcome to our live show. Please feel free to write your comments in your questions in the comments. I'm happy to try to get to them as we go. And also like our page and subscribe on YouTube so that you can get more notifications of these kinds of events. Hello, hello. Hi, Alex. Thanks for joining. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to jump to the next question. Okay. I'm here as a visitor from Italy. Can I apply for the E2 visa? Okay, so E2 visa. E2 visa is an investor visa. It's a visa that's available to citizens and nationals of specific countries. So not all the countries are eligible for the E2 visa. And it is a great option for you if you are one of a member of a treaty country. If you're a national citizen of a treaty country, one of the countries that has an agreement with the United States, it's a great option for you. It's an investor visa. So it's a visa for people that want to invest in the United States and bring money to the United States through a business that they own. Okay, so if you're a visitor and you're from Italy, then good luck. That's great luck because Italy is one of the treaty countries. And you might be eligible if you meet the requirements. You would have to make an investment in a U.S. business, and if that investment is substantial, you might be eligible for the E2 visa. So another thing to remember, though, that if you're from Italy and you entered with ESTA, then you would not be eligible to change your status. You would need to apply for the E2 visa from Italy. Okay, so Italy is a country that many people can use ESTA to enter. They don't need to have a visa. So if you have ESTA, you can still apply for the E2, but you would be applying from the US Embassy in Italy, and you wouldn't be able to change your status here. Okay. So if this was your question, please feel free to reach out and I can talk to you a lot more about the E2 visa and all the requirements and go into detail for you. Okay. Perfect. Hi, Mario. Nice to see you here. Yes, of course. I'm Mira Bugada and it's so nice to see you here. Thanks for showing up and saying hi. I hope you're doing amazing. Let's see. Vikas is asking, how can I meet my fiance? Do you currently have a fiance or you're looking to meet one? Eldrick is saying, good evening from cold Michigan. Oh my gosh, how cold is it there? We are in Southern California, so we are pretty spoiled here with the weather. We complain when it's 60 degrees, we're all complaining. So I know for you, it's a lot colder. Mario, how's your case going? It's going good. It's going good. Perfect. Do you guys, if anyone has a question, feel free to write it in the comments and I'm happy to answer it as I go. Let me see. Wow, it's 3 degrees out. Oh my goodness. That is freezing. I hope you're somewhere where you're warm and not outside right now. Okay, Vikas is saying your fiance applied for a K1 visa, but the Delhi embassy stopped us from getting married. Now, what can I do? So tell me a little bit of more information. Did you go to an interview? Did your fiance go to an interview? What happened? If you can give me some more information. Thank you so much, Mario. It's my pleasure. to represent you and to be on your case. Okay, guys. So while Vikas, if you want to give me some more information, just write it here in the comments. I will just jump in to another question. No, they didn't set our interview. Okay. So for the fiance visa, it starts with a petition. So if you are the US citizen, you have to file a petition here in the United States. It's called the I-129F. And then once that petition is approved, it gets sent to the embassy, okay, in Delhi. And then that is where your fiance would have their interview. Okay. So was your petition approved? Where are you in the process? If you can give me a little bit more information. And generally speaking, my recommendation is to reach out and have a consultation with me. And that way we can review your case specifically, more in detail, and I can give you my recommendation. We do many fiance visas, so I have a lot of experience with this, and I can talk to you more in detail. So our number is right here, and you can call or text even right now if you want, to book a call with me. Okay. Okay. Let me jump into, let me do another question. I have one more question. Let me do that one. And if anyone has a question they want me to answer before we end today, I'm happy to do that too. Okay, so how long after I become a resident can I apply for my citizenship? Okay, so that's a great question. If you were here in the beginning, I talked a little bit about why I think it's such a great idea to apply for citizenship right now if you're eligible. The reason is because we're seeing very fast adjudications of naturalization cases, and also it is a favorable administration, and we are expecting filing fees to go up in the next few months. We don't know exactly when, but it could be this year where we would see higher fees. So if you are a resident and you're eligible for naturalization, I would really encourage you to consider applying. So you have to be a resident, generally speaking, for 5 years before you can apply for naturalization. To be more specific, you can apply for 90 days before the 5 years. Okay, so 4 years and 90 months. Now, if you're married to a US citizen and living with a US citizen for the last 3 years, then you can apply after 3 years of being a resident, and more specific, 2 years and 9 months. Okay, so the general rule is 5 years after green card, but if you're married to living with a US citizen for 3 years, you can apply through a shorter way after 3 years. Okay, if you're interested, we do offer a free naturalization screening. So if you want to call us and schedule a screening, we'll confirm that you indeed are eligible to file with the dates, and that you meet the criteria, and we'll explain about the process. Okay. Okay, let me check out some of the questions. Okay, so Vikas, you're saying you were approved by the government. So the I-29F was approved, but you were not set for an interview yet. Are you waiting for the interview? Have you heard anything from Delhi? Okay, why do you say that they stopped you guys from getting married? It's true that you cannot get married if if you get married, the K-1 process is no longer relevant for you. So your fiance will not get a K-1 visa if you're already married. Then you have to switch. You have to go the spousal visa route. You have to do a new petition. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Eldrick is asking, my friend has won affirmative asylum and applied for adjustment of status. Her husband is still in the Middle East, but has a valid US V2 visa. Can he file adjustment when he comes to the US? It has not been 2 years since his wife won her affirmative asylum. Please need your counsel. So I would have your friend talk to me, because you cannot use your B1, B2 visa for the purpose of applying for adjustment of status. Okay? Because of the intent. The tourist visa is for tourist purposes, so you can't have that preconceived intent to use the visa for the tourist visa for adjustment of status. So it gets a little bit tricky. So my recommendation, Aldrich, if you can, tell your friend to reach out to me and we can have a consultation and I can explain a little bit more about what they can do. Okay? Perfect. Mr. Tusk is saying, after applying for the 751 for over 10 months, now what should one expect the next step should happen? Okay. So the 751 is the petition to remove conditions on the green card. So if someone received a 2-year green card, a conditional one, prior to the expiration of the 2 years, they have to file a petition to remove the conditions on their green card and get their 10-year green card. The issue with the 751, the removal of conditions, is that these cases are taking a really long time. So it's actually not surprising that it's been taking 10 months for your case, that your case has been pending for 10 months or more. The applicant should have received an extension of the green card together with the receipt of the filing of the 751. So because the government knows that these cases take forever, they take so long, they usually give you a 48 months extension of your green card. So you should be fine with the validity of your green card. It's a matter of waiting now for the 751 to be approved. If it's been 3 years since you received the conditional residency, you can consider also applying for naturalization. The naturalization will not be approved before the removal of conditions is approved, but we've seen sometimes that it kind of speeds the process up, having another case filed. So I would definitely recommend reaching out and we can explain it a little bit more in detail if you're interested in that. Okay, but the next step is just to wait for their approval. Great. Thank you, Eldrick. I appreciate it. I would love to talk to them. Okay. Perfect, everyone. Thank you so much. Mr. Tusk is asking a follow-up. Wait. While still waiting on the 751, can I remarry my U.S. fiance? I'm fully divorced as I filed based on cruelty. That's a good question. So you filed a waiver of the joint filing based on cruelty. It's a complicated question. I would recommend having a consultation. If you're fully divorced and your case is still pending based on cruelty, there is another option to get the case to switch the waiver basis from cruelty to divorce. So since it's a more complicated issue, I would recommend that you call and or reach out to us for a consultation, because I want to talk to you more about it. Okay. Perfect. Sometimes in these lives, it's hard to get into detail, especially if it's a complex matter. So this is a little bit more for general information. And when it comes to more specific advice on complicated issues, then I recommend always calling and scheduling a one-on-one. Okay. Vikas is asking, after being denied a K1, what other options do you have? Yeah. So generally speaking, after being denied a day K1, I would want to know what the reason is for the denial, what happened. Most K1s are denied because of lack of proof of bona fide relationship. So a good solution to that is to get married. And if you're ready for that. If that is a step that you are ready for, then a great solution to that problem sometimes is just to get married and to show that you are in a marriage, a more committed relationship, right? Because for the fiance visa, the requirements are pretty low. You just basically can apply even if you met one time in person in the last 2 years, right? So being married is sometimes a more stronger petition. So many times after someone's K1 was denied, we recommend starting again, but this time with the marriage-based process. Again, this is generally, I would want to know exactly what happened with your case and why it gets denied. Okay. It's complicated, right? So you can't do it in India, maybe. You have to do it in a different country. Um, so a marriage would be valid. It doesn't matter. And you can get married in any country as long as it's legal in that country. Right? So if you guys can go to a third country and get married, that would be valid for immigration purposes in the US, as long as it's legal in the country where you get married. But Vikas, reach out to us, call us, let's have a conversation. Let's see how we can help you and your fiance and get your case going, get a new case going for you guys. I know it's really frustrating and it's really hard, especially when there's a very long wait times. So, I'm sure you guys have been waiting for a long time, and just to get a denial, it's really hard and it's really frustrating. So, um, I hear you. I understand. I know what you're going through. Um, it is frustrating, and I'll be happy to talk to you one on one and see how we can help. Okay. Okay, everyone. It was so great being here today and answering your questions. It was truly my pleasure. I'll be here again on Thursday at 5:30 Pacific on YouTube and Facebook. So please join us again next week. And if you want to reach out to us personally, send us a message, call, text, visit our website, and we'll make sure that we get to see you as soon as possible for a consultation. And that's it. Until next time, everyone keep warm, stay warm, and be healthy. And God bless you. And I'll see you next week.